Would you look who it is? Jonny Key, welcome back to the vlog. How are you doing?
I'm great.
We just got to the hotel. I'm here with
Jonny Key. I feel great. A little scared about what's gonna happen at night, but I feel good. He needs me. Let's go, Luke! Come on! Luke Talbot. What a race.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Blonde Boys Run. First of all, I just want to say thank you guys for all the support recently. We've been actually getting quite a good amount of views per episode, which is kind of surprising because it's obviously just me and Jonny absolutely yapping about running back and forth. So I am obviously really appreciative of all the love that we get, and quite a few of you guys are tuning in on Spotify as well, which is always nice to see. We got a couple followers over there. If you guys didn't know, we do have Spotify up there. It's just audio only, so it's nice if you are going for a run, just want to listen to it. That's usually what I do when I listen back the episode. But yeah, just wanted to, of course, say thank you guys. And with that being said, we are, of course, joined by my beautiful son, my co-host, Jonny Key. Jonny just got back from conference. He might be a little tired from that bus ride last night, but Jonny, how are you doing this morning?
I'm all right. I'm all right. Still a little bit sad about this past weekend, but we're all good. We're all good.
I know, I do hear that. That's okay though. We're gonna jump into that in a moment here, but you want to start off with top five?
Yeah, of course. Let's just roll right into it. So I got top 5 marathons, like host cities. Top 5 marathon host cities according to medium.com.
So this is gonna be extremely biased to whatever
Okay,
freaking did this.
you want to know like what the criteria is?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, so it's based on size, the elite field, the speed, and the host city. Those are
Okay,
the
so
four.
Chicago for sure. Chicago's got to be in the top five.
Chicago is 5.
Okay. New York,
New York is 3.
Boston,
Boston is 1.
Paris.
No.
Um.
Last 2 are in Europe.
I'm only thinking Europe right now. I had to assume it was going to be 2 European uh, marathons, but I'm trying to think of one of them that is just absolutely slipping my mind right now. Is it the Valencia Marathon? No, not Valencia. What am
I think you're
thinking?
thinking too hard.
Well, I'm not thinking at all apparently because I can't think of the two big like marathon there, because there's obviously the major marathons, like the five big ones that like even Kipchoge talks about, like how he wants to win all of the major marathons, but I can't think of the ones that aren't in America. Obviously, I've not run any of them, which kind of sucks, but it should be. There is one that I just can't think of that's on my head, but it's on the tip of my tongue. I just can't think of what the freaking marathon's called because it's the city that it's in. But I'm just absolutely faded. Give me some help here. What am I?
One is on an island.
Is one of them the Japanese marathon?
Dog, it's in Europe.
Yeah, that was faded as heck. Jesus.
One's in the UK.
That doesn't help me.
Dude, are you serious?
Yes, I'm serious because you're gonna tell me and then I'm gonna know it. I just can't think. I swear every time we do this, I'm absolutely just like not mentally
You don't
checked in for any of these top fives.
you
I
don't even
know
need to
all of them.
know. You don't even need to know like about running. Like you just have common geography skills.
Well, that's not fair because I have none.
Okay,
Dude,
one's in Great Britain and one's in Germany.
oh,
They just
Berlin.
Yeah, Berlin's
Jesus
4.
Christ.
Dude,
How do I it took me that long to not get that?
number
The other one's in
2,
UK.
bro. Yes,
The
bro.
London Marathon? Oh
Yes.
my God. Oh, jeez. What am I thinking
Oh,
of? What was the other one that I was thinking of? You know what? Never mind. It doesn't
I don't
even
even
matter.
know.
Let's move on. I am so checked out after that. Those were so easy
Bad.
too. I
I
was
know.
definitely thinking too hard. I was absolutely thinking about it way too hard. Anyways, let's jump into a little. Let's shift the spotlight. Let's talk about conference
Oh,
recap. Johnny, talk to
come
me.
on.
Talk to me about your conference
Come
race.
on. Oh man. Well, so I was only in the 3K. I kind of wanted to be in the DMR, but that didn't happen. Coach was like, "I just focus on the 3K, focus on what you came here to do." So we drive up there Friday, and so I have all of Friday, all of Saturday, and basically all of Sunday just like sitting there and waiting. And so I'm not gonna lie, it was like kind of like torture. Um, but it was at a super nice track, the Indiana State Fairgrounds, new track. It was like a really cool area, really nice. So it's like, oh man, it's perfect, really.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in the fast heat too, and so I was like, okay, this is epic. And like the times in it, like it wasn't too crazy. Like the winning time was 8:24. Um, so it was like it wasn't bad at all. And so we got out, or let me rewind a little bit. So there's this one freshman from Lewis, Evan Horgan.
Yep.
He's a demon, bro. In the
Yes.
5K, he goes with like 600 left. I mean, he's just gone. He's just gone. He made
Mm-hmm.
Court Ross, who runs like 14:10, look like a chump. Um, Wins the 5K. He might have been in the flipping DMR for all I know. I don't know. But regardless, comes back next day, mile, same thing, wins the mile. And so we're all thinking like, what the he's in the 3K too, like he's literally gonna go for the triple crown. This is insane. So we're like, okay, he's probably gonna do the same exact flipping thing. But the thing is, there's literally nothing anyone can do just because he's just so much better than everyone else. But regardless, like I still should have ran my race. I still should have been top eight. I did a decent job first mile, just like kind of being in the back or whatnot. Like I was still in that main group. Going through mile, we came through about maybe 4:36, 4:37. So it's nothing too crazy. And I think what really got to my head was just I don't even know. I was just in my head. I think I was just in my head, and like whenever you hit that block of pain, it's like
Mm-hmm.
you can like try to push through it, or you can just give up. And I think I just gave up, to be honest with you. I think whenever they started to turn, because it's like they did a 32 and then a 35 or something like that, or a 33 and then a 35.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like if I would have just pushed that lap, then I could have settled back in and it would have been fine. Or like my coach was saying, it's like maybe I do go and I die and I end up in the same spot I was in, but I won't know because I just didn't do it. And so I don't know, it's just tough. And like whenever we are talking about Grand Valley, how like I just didn't compete and like I just accepted it where I was at. I mean, that's literally exactly what happened. So it's a little frustrating, but I mean it's all my fault. So I mean, there's really there's no one else to blame except for myself. But like Coach Price says, experience is the best teacher, and so I'm glad I got that experience now. And Coach Steve also was saying he's like you're not really used to being in like competitive races because like last year at Lindenwood, like when the frick was I competitive? Like I'm not in any race to be competitive in or whatnot. So I mean I'm still learning, but I thought I was through that like where I could get through that mental block of pain. But I just didn't get through it that last meet, so that's what really ended up hurting me. But it's okay. We have outdoor coming up, so I'll redeem myself hopefully.
No, absolutely. And I think a big part of it, and as I was watching you, I was obviously texting you like my thoughts throughout your race,
Yeah,
which I don't know if you ever got a kick out of reading those because it
I
was
did.
quite a bit. I mean, I sent you, oh geez, I think like 15 texts throughout like an 8 minute and 40-second span. So, it was quite a bit, but I think like the biggest thing to look at was just like basically you started in the back of the pack. I watched your start and you were instantly the in not last, but in the very back. You let everybody else go ahead of you, which isn't a bad move at the very
Hmm.
beginning of a race, especially with how good the competition was. I mean, the fastest person they said on the broadcast had ran 8:12, which is not
Mm-hmm.
slow. Like that is a very quick 3K. So it's definitely a good play off the start. I think I would have liked to see you perhaps maybe not in the very back, but like the back 75%. And then
Mm-hmm.
even when you saw Ben get into really good positioning, I was texting you. I was like, I would love to see you like clip onto Ben and kind of run with him. That is one of the
Mm-hmm.
nice things about having like teammates in a race is because you can kind of work together. And it does kind of depend like where you are at like with your teammates and how much like competitiveness you have between you because like obviously like we had teammates at Lindenwood where I would like run up next to one of them and all they would do is run away because they're like, oh, I want to beat you and I'm competitive. But then like me and you obviously when I caught up to you at what was it like with the Mizzou race, and me
Dan's,
and you
yeah.
ran together, and then like that motivated you to keep pushing. Like I was on you, and I was like, you better freaking start running because this is not happening. And same thing
Yeah.
with Anders. Me and Anders were running the 5K in for conference indoors. Me and
Mm-hmm.
Anders are together for like the first, maybe 3.5, 4K, and I'm like, Anders, you got to go. And then Anders takes off. Like having teammates is very, very beneficial in races like that. So I think I would have loved to see you work up to Ben and work with him because I think that you guys probably know that you're in it for the points. You want to do as well as you can as a team, and you guys can work together. And I think Ben kind of knows that he's very fit right now, so he's probably not too worried. No offense, obviously, but he's kind of a demon. I won't lie. I've seen some of his times,
Yeah, he
so I
is.
don't think he's obviously going to be too worried. I think he would have not minded. I mean, I don't know him as a person, but I doubt he would have minded working with you. So that was just something I was looking at as an outside perspective. At the end of the day, I'm not your coach and I have no coaching experience. So, just some extra thoughts. But at the end of the day, you listen to your coach, you do what he tells you. And that's what I'm
Yeah.
definitely doing. So, but yeah, I mean, it was definitely an interesting race to watch play out. It was really cool to see you in the video for like 2,600 or so. And then 400
Yeah.
to go, one of the guys just absolutely took off. And I was just like, oh. And then I saw you finish, and I was like, oh, Johnny.
I know. I know. I was like, oh, my parents are watching this. My high school coach is watching this. I'm like, oh, this is so bad. But
Yeah, I definitely think that, like, if you ever watch like a lot of like the professional races, like you can kind of tell who's gonna get, top three, top five just by positioning throughout like the first half of the race. It's very uncommon to see somebody come from the very back and do very well. And I think that like a big part of that is that you are running as fast as the person in front of you. So if two, three people in front of you start slowing down and the guy behind him slows down, the guy behind him slows down, like you're not even going to tell that you're starting to slow down from the pack until like you see the pack 20 meters ahead of you and you're like, holy crap, what just
hmm
happened? So like that's just a tough thing about being in the back. And again, I don't think it was a bad call from like right off the get go, but I do agree with what you're saying. Like, you just got to be competitive. I think it's a great learning experience at the end of the day. You learn from your mistakes, and
yeah,
going into outdoor, I think that's something you can absolutely work on and focus on. Potentially making up some ground and going from there.
yeah,
I obviously indoor. Like give me your indoor recap because now indoor season's over for you. Just talk to me
yeah.
through your first indoor season as a Triton and how everything went.
I mean, I think it went super well. I think my high is like kind of depressing. Um, I'd say my high would probably be like Principia, just running an 841 on a 200 flat and like just I don't know, just absolutely killing it. And then also like my wash run mile, like it was just the days when you feel good is when it's just so easy and so much fun. But it's like the days when you feel bad, like Grand Valley and conference and stuff, it's just like, gosh, it's so bad. But I think I had a really good season. I think I've never ran the 420s in the mile in my entire life until this year, and my first one was a 421. It's like that's pretty solid coming from last year to this year. You go from 431 to 421, and then
Mm-hmm.
in the 3K going from 901 to 841. It's like that's pretty good. That's pretty good ground that I made. So I don't think I have anything to be like sad about indoor season. It's just the only thing that I hate is that it feels like whenever it comes into conference championship season and stuff like that, it feels like I always like sell like this conference, cross country conference, even last year. I mean, I had a good outdoor conference, but in high
Hmm.
school, just never did good at districts and whatnot. So I think it's always going to be in the back of my head that I just sell every single time when it's important. But that's just something I got to break come outdoor. But I'm super excited. I still think I got a lot of ways to improve. Like I think going from 901 to 841, like that's a good jump, but I do think like I could have ran 830, Like I think that could have been the peak for indoor. But I'm happy with it. I think my PRs are pretty solid, so I'm just I'm ready for outdoor. I'm ready to make up some more ground, so we'll just have to wait and see.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a big thing of like knowing how good of fitness you might be in with workouts or like how you feel like you definitely think like, yeah, if I could run a 841 and not feel like it was like all that taxing, I should be able to run 830. It's also like I could probably run 830 in perfect conditions, like perfectly
Yeah,
paced, no like issues with competition, great indoor facility, no troubles breathing. Like obviously all that goes into it, and it's tough to be like, yeah, well, I think I can run 830, but you don't obviously take into consideration the fact that you're not in the perfect conditions. You're not in a lab where it's going to be everything's like tailored towards you. You're not the main character in a sense. So like
yeah,
it's tough because like I completely understand. Like obviously last year I went from running 1541 indoor to 1630s outdoor because I got injured at the end of freaking indoor season, and then training was training. We didn't get proper training for stuff like that. So it was just a really
yeah,
difficult outdoor season, which it hurts because, I believed that I was like in this 1541 shape, and then I couldn't even come close to it. But that's obviously you're just in different conditions. So it's obviously great to see
mm,
improvement. 20 seconds is 20 seconds at the end of the day, and 10 seconds in the mile as well. So that's huge. And obviously you're only a sophomore. So you got plenty of time. And on top of that, you have an entire outdoor season. How's the shin feeling? Are you feeling pretty good down there?
yeah. I mean, it comes and goes. I was telling coach, he's like, "Well, is everything okay?" It's like, yeah, like the pain kind of comes and goes, and it's not getting any worse. I think the bottom line is like I just really gotta recover well, and I think that's something I still gotta work on because it's just like it's just something to add on to your daily routine, And he said he's like you do have to make it a daily routine, so that includes
Hmm.
um, rolling out. That includes doing slant board, stuff like that, just stretches catered towards my calves and my shins. And he was saying he's like just with the way like my legs and my Achilles and my feet are, like I'm gonna have tight calves, and in turn I'm gonna have bad shins. But I just gotta
Hmm.
take care of it enough to where it doesn't turn into like a stress reaction or a fracture like it did last year, to where I'm out, 2 months,
Yeah.
3 months. So I think I just gotta take care of myself and I'll be good. So, yep.
Yeah, fair enough. Awesome. You want to do a little pre-meet with me?
Oh my gosh. I would love to. So Lucas Talbot is going to California. When are you leaving?
I leave Thursday morning at like I think I have to be there at the airport at like 5 a.m. or 4:45 a.m. I think the flight takes off at either 6 or 6:30 in the morning, so I gotta be there early.
Dang. And what day do you run?
I raced Saturday, and I thought I was racing at like 6 p.m., which I was
Hmm.
super hyped about because like that sunset, it should be cool. Probably wouldn't be too windy that late in the night. Super, super hyped about it. And I looked at the schedule, and I'm running at literally noon. I think I'm racing at like 12:20. I was like,
What's
oh,
what's the weather like?
yeah, that was the other problem. It is supposed to be extremely windy. I mean, it's probably going to change, and fingers crossed it does. But it did look like it was going to be around 10-mile-per-hour winds, which sucks. But at the same
Hmm.
time, I think it's going to be 50 degrees, and obviously at
Oh,
noon,
perfect.
like, oh yeah, at noon, it's honestly going to be a really nice day. So that's actually kind of huge. And Turlock is kind of in the middle of nowhere. So regardless of what it looks like, right now it says it's a high of 51 with rain, which doesn't sound great. And the rain is, of course, at noon. There's a
Hmm.
30% chance of rain at noon. So I mean, we'll see. Obviously, I'm not too worried about it because regardless if it's rainy or windy, I could care less. I'm in California. It'll be 50 degrees and I'm surrounded by competition. Who
Mm-hmm.
cares? So like I'm super hyped about that. I also did check there's not heat sheets out just yet, but there is the race schedule.
Mm-hmm.
And as of right now, there is an A, B, and C 5K. And the way it's set up is sub 15 is A, sub 16 is B, and then 16 or slower is C. So I'll definitely be in the B unless for some reason Arrow convinces his coach that he wants to put me in the sub 15 and just let me go freaking after it. Which if I
Yeah.
get put in the sub 15, I am literally running the back of the pack like you did 3K and holding on for dear life. But I
Yep.
doubt that's going to
What you gotta
happen.
do.
Yeah, so I'll probably be in the B heat, which goes off, like I said, I think at 12:20, which is super good though, too, because it'll mean that I'm just going to get to the front, run with the front pack, and whatever we throw down, we throw down. To be honest, I
Mm-hmm.
have no straight racing strategy going into it. I'm going to pull up and I'm going to talk to Arrow and I'm going to say, Arrow, you tell me what to do and I will absolutely do it. If he wants me going out in a 4:30 mile, I'll go out in a 4:30 mile. I do not care. I have just so much faith and trust in Arrow as my coach that whatever he tells me to do, I'm doing it. Like if he tells me to go out in a 5:20, I'll go out in a 5:20 and work down the last 2 miles to 4:30 if he wants me to. I mean, it's just I just have too much like trust and faith in him, and especially like I mean, you see the results he threw down. He knows what he's doing. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, he's been doing an absolutely phenomenal job with my training. Super mentally strong going into this race. Like I've just been overcoming a lot with my training recently, so I'm super excited, obviously, to throw down and at the end of the day, it's a 5K and it's the first one of the season and outdoor, which will be super exciting. So, I mean, I'm not putting a lot on it as in like, yeah, I want to break 15 minutes at some point this season. Do I
Mm-hmm.
expect to do that this meet? Probably not. Like, it's not an easy thing to do, to say the least. So, I mean, we'll see. Anything can happen. But, yeah, I mean, I'm just so excited to go out to California, man. I mean, I'm sure you can
Yeah.
understand. Like, it's like, yeah, I'm just way too excited.
I know. It's gonna be a great experience for you. I'm so jealous. You know, Nate got to go out to California last year, and now you get to go to California. It's just like, dang, dude. It's like I don't know, that's awesome. I just hope you compete. Like you said, put yourself in that front pack and then just see what happens. So
Yeah. Funny enough, the track that Nate competed at, the whatever freaking uh, meet that is that everybody goes to when they're out there, that
yeah.
track is the last chance race after the Stan State conference, with Stan State hosts their own conference this year at their track. And I
Mm,
also had the option of potentially going out, watching conference, and then racing at the track that Nate raced at with Arrow. It's like an hour away. And I was like,
yeah.
yeah, I think I'm going to go race there after conference just for a fast race because it's pretty competitive. So he's like, well, if you don't come at the beginning of March, come like a month later, where you can watch us race conference and then go to this meet in like I don't know what's San Diego or something like that. I don't know wherever Nate ran,
I think it's
and
LA.
or LA. Yeah, there you go. So you can come to LA with me and I'll race there anyway. So you can just come race with me. And I was just like, that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm going right now. And honestly, I think I'd rather go right now because like the weather is like almost perfect. I'm kind of
Hmm.
scared to push it back any later because once it gets to like May in California, it is not cold and it's a lot different than the weather in Illinois. Like I'd probably be going from like 40s on an Illinois day to like 70s on a California day, which is a little bit, it would definitely play effect to my mental battle because I don't race well in the heat. You know that, so
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah. I understand. I understand. I'm the same way.
but yeah, we'll see. I also am racing in Vaporflies, which I only want to bring up because I was watching your guys' conference and the girl who won the 3K for the women's side was
Hmm.
wearing Vaporflies. I don't know if you noticed that. And then the
I did
guy who
not notice
took
that.
the guy who took third, the Maryville guy, he was also wearing flats. I couldn't tell if it was Vaporfly 4% or something, but he was
Oh, in the
not in your
first
heat.
heat?
In the first heat. Did you notice that?
No. No, I did
Oh.
not.
Nah, I mean it's okay. I just thought it was funny because I imagine that the reason they wear Vaporflies is because I think it's easier to double up on events wearing shoes like that, where it's like very foamy, cushiony, a lot of recovery, like a lot of energy return. Sorry, So where it's
Hmm.
probably better, you're probably better off running in those because it just makes it a little bit easier than you are spikes, where spikes might be a little bit faster, but I feel like it takes more effort. Like you're not getting the same amount of energy return. So like, if, how do you judge that, I guess? But
Hmm.
I just thought it was interesting watching your conference and seeing people in flats, I guess, for a 200 banked track too. So I was like,
Yeah,
fair
that is
enough.
interesting.
And the girl won, so I was like, geez. I mean, and she destroyed. I don't know if you watched much of that women's 3K.
I was too busy, scared.
She took off from like the first lap and she never came back. I think she was lapping people, but like yeah, no, she
Jeez.
just took off and yeah, she was never seen again. So that was kind of crazy, not gonna lie. But yeah, that was super fun to watch. And then yeah, like I said, yeah, I'm gonna be wearing Vaporflies. My Dragonflies are so dead at this point. They've been like I think they're 4 years old, which is kind of insane.
Yeah,
Um,
time to get some new ones.
I don't think I'm ever gonna buy spikes again. I don't think like I'll toss my Dragonflies on if I need a for a workout, but if I race in like any more track races, it's always gonna be like 5K, 10K, and I might as well wear Vaporflies.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
So I think that's honestly might just be the move. And again, like you obviously, one of the things that I like about wearing like Vaporflies for a race is it's what I'm used to doing workouts. Like if I'm gonna do like a really hard session or a double threshold, I'll toss Vaporflies on for the second workout. So you're already
Hmm.
used to wearing them anyway. So I think like definitely you get into a racing mentality putting spikes on, but at the same time, I think I'm like more mentally comfortable wearing Vaporflies, especially after doing like a road race. Like it might just be like a comfort thing where like you just feel a little bit better wearing those shoes. And at the same time, like there's people absolutely destroying road races in Vaporflies running at speeds that I will never ever touch. So it's like obviously like it's not like the shoes are incapable of it. So if I want to break 15, like I don't think it matters whether I'm wearing Vaporflies or spikes. Like at the end of the day, like they're both going to be extremely beneficial whether it comes to energy return and speed. So
Hmm.
it's up to me. Like it has nothing to do with the shoes at the end of the day. You toss on a pair of super shoes, you're going to run fast regardless. So it's your training that's going to get you to the marks that you want to be. Obviously they're going to help, but one super shoe to another, I don't think really makes much of a difference. So,
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, whatever you're most comfortable with is definitely what
yeah,
I would go with. And
absolutely.
I tried those on whenever I was looking at getting new shoes and whatnot. And dude, they feel so good. They feel so freaking good. And Ben and Jacob were like, once you go super shoe, you never go back. And it's so true, bro. It's so true. It just makes everything so much easier and smoother, like for
Hmm.
workouts. And like it never got through my head that it was like more about the recovery than like just basically like running faster, I guess, if that makes any sense.
Because you
Um,
don't run faster. Like that's such a. It's not that you're running faster. They're obviously built to help you feel like run quicker, easier. But it's all
yeah,
energy return. It's all energy return.
yeah, yeah. Yep. So I'm full on super shoe now with whatever I have. I forget what they're called.
Endorphins.
Yeah, the endorphin pros. They're for my babies. They're so nice. But
I love
yeah,
that you're just looking them down. I'm gonna look at my super shoes. Oh, so beautiful.
you have too many to count.
I only have two, realistically. I just have two pairs of Vaporflies. I guess Dragonflies too, to be fair. I
Oh
guess
yeah,
that's yeah. But I
yeah.
mean, the tempos you might consider super shoes, but they're not legal in street race. Well, you can wear them for street racing, but you can't win anything with them because they're illegal for stack height. World
Yeah.
Athletics banned the tempos. So I did. I remember we were racing our first 8K of the year last cross country season. There's a kid
Uh-huh.
in front of me for like the first 2 or 3K wearing tempos. I was just like, what?
Well,
I was like, okay. And then somebody else was wearing tempos at the freaking Mizzou meet. And I was like, that's interesting. All right, whatever. Okay.
that
So
is
yeah, that was, yeah. I don't. Who cares? Honestly,
yeah.
it does not matter. But let's talk about some of the results over the weekend. I think we got to start with Maxime Turon, conference champ in the 800, an absolute
Absolutely.
demon. I mean, he ran 150.99, which isn't anything crazy. Like I think Max could obviously run faster in the 800. I don't know
Mhm.
what his PR in the 800 is, to be quite honest with you. I don't have it pulled
It's
up either,
it's
but
it's 150. I mean, either low or high, it's still 150.
I
So
got you. I do think that he's got the capabilities to run faster, but I also think that he kind of just smoked the competition. I didn't check it, but I think he
yeah,
just probably. I doubt he was caring too much about time and just went for the win. I mean, who knows?
yeah.
He might have been dead at the end of that, but yeah, I think I had posted on my story. I post light work, and Max said absolutely, and I was like, okay, maybe this kid was just running for placement. So now shout out Max, conference champ in the 800, an absolute demon. We also had Najwa, which is Arrow's girlfriend, one of our close friends from Lindenwood, my close friend from Lindenwood. You had the
Said
chance
never.
to you had the chance to see her at Grand Valley, but you apparently never
Yeah,
saw her ran into it.
I
But
did not.
uh, she ran 16:31 5K, which is a D2 provisional for nationals. She finds out if she makes it tomorrow. So
Mm.
fingers crossed for her. I hope she makes it in. And that ranks her 16th in the nation for D2, I believe, which is awesome. Congrats to Naj. Hope she gets to go and compete at the nationals, which hopefully is not this weekend because I would like to see her when I get to California. I'm just kidding. It's definitely not because she raced that last weekend, so there's no way
Yeah.
that's this weekend. But we also have, I think let's talk about Cameron Myers a little bit because what an absolute mad lad. There was a post that Sidious Mag made that I obviously sent to you over Instagram
Yeah.
comparing Cameron at 17 years and 8 months old to Jakob Ingebrigtsen. And for those of you who aren't aware, Cameron Myers is an absolute demon from Australia. He is, like
Yeah.
I said, 17 years, 8 months old. 147 low in the 800, 333 low in the 1500, 352 high in the mile, and 752 low in the 3K, which is absolutely absurd. And just for like to clarify, he is faster than Jakob Ingebrigtsen's 800, 1500, and 3K when Jakob was that age. Jakob has him in the mile by less than a quarter of a second. Like that's how close it is. And
Hmm.
granted, like it is good to note that Jakob did go on to run 331 for 1500 when he was seven in like 2 months later. So it's like not a perfect comparison because obviously this is like specifically 17 years, 8 months old. So obviously
Hmm.
Jakob did go on to be a little bit faster, but just the fact that he is this quick to begin with, I mean, it's got to make you question like how was he training when he grew up? Because it just doesn't seem realistic at all to be that quick. Like obviously Jakob did it, and the like a lot of the reason why people are so infatuated with Jakob because he was running 100 miles a week when he was like 13 or something stupid like that. So it's like yeah, it makes sense that he was as quick as he is given the training that he had undergone when he was that young. And now you have Cameron
Hmm.
Myers, and I'm like, well, dude, I want to know what he was doing at 13 because if he's been training, like, it's so crazy to see such quick times at such a young age. So yeah, I'm
Yeah.
super excited to see what he's gonna do in the future. I think that he is a very good talent from Australia, which is always nice to see. Love the folks from down under, and yeah, I mean, what are your thoughts on this freaking mad lad from Australia?
For me, I think he came out of nowhere, or because I've never heard of him until I forget which race I saw, but I was like, what the frick? And he's 17, dude. Like that's insane. And going back to what you were saying with his training, I do want to know what he was doing. Like you were saying, what Jakob was doing, whenever he was a teenager. I do think for every Cameron Myers and Jakob, there's a lot of kids who do that work, and like I always see them on Instagram and stuff, like like low teens, like 10, 11, 12 years old, doing like a lot of stuff, and it's like on a developing body and stuff. I mean, for every one of Cameron Myers and Jakob, there's got to be 100, 50, whatever kids who end up burning out or just like their bodies are destroyed or whatnot. So I do
Oh,
think that is
completely
something
agree.
yeah, like so not everyone's body can handle that. Um, but I mean the ones that do handle it, I mean this this is what happens, But I do think that people see this and it's like, oh, like we gotta get every single kid on this, And it's like you get every single kid on it, then you're gonna end up with a lot of not that, not that result. But on a more like positive note, like this is pretty sick because obviously Jakob's the face of distance running. Um, I think like it's really cool because I don't know how old Jakob is now. But I think it's cool that we're getting younger younger athletes there, like just out and about in the distance running world. Like it's pretty cool to see, especially he's not even freaking 18 yet. And
Yeah.
I mean, not even comparing him to Jakob, but just like in general, like that's insane what he's running. Like that's like actually crazy what he's running. I'm interested to see what he ends up doing like professionally. Like I don't think he'll go to college, to be honest. What do you think?
Well, I'm I think that this would be his first year of college. I don't know if he's still in high school. That's the thing. I almost think that this might be his first year out of high school and he might be pro right now. And I don't
Probably
know.
is.
Like it's very possible because if you think about it, and I don't know again for sure, but I was 17 when I graduated high school. I
Yeah.
turned 18. Did I turn 18 that year or the next year?
Well, he's definitely he's a Nike athlete for sure.
He is a Nike
Um,
athlete, and he runs with a professional team. And obviously, one way or another, he's a pro runner. Like he's not running these times and not running as a pro runner. Like he's 100% a pro runner. Obviously, the
yeah.
only thing that I wonder is yes, is there's a very good chance he's either a senior right now or he just graduated. But yeah, I don't know what happens with that when you're that good because in Australia, what is like realistically, if you go to school, you can do it, but it's not like there's like a NCAA in Australia. Like if
It's not
you're
like it's
going to
America.
school,
Yeah.
yeah, if you're going to school, you're just a student and a pro runner. Like you just are both. Like you're not. It's very different from America. So it'd be interesting to see whether, potentially he comes to the States and just absolutely destroys the NCAA scene because he would, obviously, running those times. It's not even honestly that close. So that would be interesting. And yeah, I don't know what his next steps are going to be. I'm really excited to see it throughout the summer. I'm sure he'll be competing at the Olympic Games for the Australian team in something. I'm not sure what,
Hmm.
because obviously the Australians are kind of insane with like distance runners right now. They have a really good pool of talent, but I think right now he might have the I don't want to the national lead, if you will, for the mile 1500 as a Australian. So I'm not 100% sure. I would have to look, but yeah, it's
Hmm.
just going to be interesting to see. No matter what happens, I love to see it. Jumping over to another crazy result, if you will, we have Christopher Morales Williams, who broke the indoor 400-meter world record, which is just mind boggling because it came absolutely out of nowhere. And if you watch it back, the announcers didn't even know that he broke a world record. They were talking about it and they're like, oh, yeah, he just ran a collegiate record and had no clue that he also broke the world record, which is it came out of nowhere. I've never heard of this person before. He's obviously a
Never.
distance D1 runner. It definitely makes you wonder what's going on with his training. And I mean, it's always just really awkward when somebody comes out of nowhere and breaks a record, especially being in school still, because you kind of just thinking to yourself like, is this legit? Like, where did you come from, and why have I like not heard anything about it? Because you know, it really did. It came out of left field, and when the announcers don't even know what's going on, like it kind of
Yeah.
spells like a good story for you. Obviously, I'm assuming that he's clean. I mean, in the NCAA, you can absolutely get away with it, but there is drug testing. Like I obviously got drug tested. It's randomized, but your school can also drug test. So who knows? I mean, I would always just assume innocent till proven guilty. So, awesome for him. Super cool result. Again, just so weird because it came out of nowhere. I mean, what are your thoughts?
I honestly didn't see it. I just saw the post about it, and your reaction was my reaction. I was like, I had no clue this kid existed. Um, but yeah, I think it's. I didn't like the announcers. I didn't realize that that was the world record. Um, it's just it's just really like weird because you've never heard of him, and he just breaks a record, and you're just like, where did that come from? And like you said, like you can absolutely get away with it. But I mean, like you said, innocent until proven guilty. So like, it's kind of like the NBA. Whenever an NBA player has a big game, they always get like drug tested the next day or whatnot. But I don't know if that kid got drug tested, but it's crazy because he's also a sophomore. Like he's not even, he's 19, 20 years old. But I mean, it's crazy. I think it's good for the SEC, obviously, like it's a big football conference or whatnot, but I think it's definitely not looked down upon. But like there's other Power Five conferences that are like equivalent with the SEC, if not better than the SEC. So I think that that was definitely good for the SEC. I think sprints and other track events or whatnot might be better in other conferences than what or than I don't even know. Um, but I think it's like super good for the SEC to be competitive, um, in something other than football, I'd say.
That's interesting because I actually didn't know that the SEC wasn't like very competitive with track, to be honest with you. Because
Okay, well, like it is in our eyes, but it's like compared to other Power Five conferences, like it's not the football equivalent.
yeah, fair enough. Obviously, I don't honestly know anything about conferences and all of these like things. Obviously, I'm not a college, professional per se like you are. So when I think of the SEC, I'm just like, yeah, that's if you want to be good at distance running, go to any school in the SEC because they're all just cracked. But I guess maybe that's not entirely true. Am I just tripping thinking that?
Yeah, I mean, I, it's good. It's really good, but it's not age. It's not so far above every other conference like it is in football per se. Um, But I do think in sprints, like it is, to be honest. I mean,
Okay.
all those southern schools, you have LSU, Florida, and I mean, like even Georgia now, Alabama, like they're like really good sprint schools. And then in distance running, Alabama obviously has a crowd ton of Kenyans and whatnot, but it's like they're still really good. Like Jacob on my team, he went to Mississippi State, and obviously they're not as well funded as other programs. But I do think the SEC has it's definitely not looked down upon, but I think there are conferences where it's like, okay, well, if you want to be like good, like you can go here, and obviously, there are good distance teams in the SEC. But for cross country, I mean, when's the last time you saw an SEC team win the NCAA cross country championships? Especially for distance running.
Fair enough. Didn't
It's like,
didn't
what?
women's on the women's side, Florida win track and field nationals?
They probably did.
No way, I just got you lacking. Okay, I'm pretty
Yeah, you
sure
did.
Florida won. I'm pretty sure Florida won that the I mean, I'm gonna check just to double check, but I want to say uh who won NCAA track champs 2023.
I think Florida
Let's
woman did
see.
win.
Like, yeah, I mean, I guess maybe that gives me rose-colored or whoa, on the men's side, Florida won. On the women's side, Florida took second for outdoors.
What?
So, and Tennessee
Oh,
took
for
first
track?
for the yeah, and Tennessee took first on the women's side. Those are all three those are all three SEC schools, is it not? Wait,
I was
is
talking about
Arkan
Arkansas is in it. I was talking about more about whatchamacallit.
sprints?
I was talking about more like I said in track, obviously they're really good, but like distance running wise, that's what I was trying to get at.
Fair
Because
enough, I
like
suppose.
when you look at cross country, like Arkansas got fourth for, I guess that's men's. Yeah, Arkansas got fourth for men's, while no other SEC school was in the top 10. And then for, I like how you just sent me that. And then for women's, NC State won, Florida got fifth.
Unsurprising.
I mean, Florida, Tennessee, Bama went 5, 6, 7. Arkansas went 9. So,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I'm just capping out of my butt, but
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't know, obviously, one way or another, but just from the indoor and outdoor track perspective, I mean, I'm gonna send you indoor right now too. Indoor, Arkansas won both men's and women's. Georgia won men's, or took second for men's. Tennessee took second for women's, and then Florida took first. Why took first and or took third for both men's and women's. So I mean, those are those not top three for both men's and women's all SEC schools?
to be honest, I was looking at rankings for this year. So I did not hear what you just said, but I mean, like for men's right now, week 5, Arkansas is at 3, and then for women's, Arkansas, Florida is 1, 2. Yeah. So I'm just a liar. I have no clue what I'm talking about. So just disregard everything that I just said.
So basically, what I'm hearing is I know more about college track than you do.
Apparently, dog. Apparently, I
That is
just
actually hilarious. I don't know what you were smoking, but yeah, I think SEC is pretty competitive for track, and I don't know, like you said, maybe distance they're not as, or maybe sprints they're not as, but at the end of the day, they're winning indoors, so they got to be good in something.
yeah, yeah. No, I'm just
Okay, anyways,
yeah.
let's
You should
we'll
fire me.
continue absolutely not. We'll continue talking about the SEC for just a moment because we got to talk about Parker Valby. She had went on an absolute smoking or not smoking. I was gonna say smoke show, but I don't know why. She absolutely destroyed a
That's crazy.
race at the end of cross country. First track race to open up at Boston. Just absolutely destroyed a 5K, setting a new record for the NCAA, I want to say. It was so long
Yeah.
ago, I can't even remember. But regardless, just absolutely masterclass. That's a better word. And then we haven't seen her in indoor track since. Well, she comes back to the conference champs at the SECs. I don't even know if you knew this, but she got tossed in the slow heat for the 3K, which I'm assuming is because she probably didn't race a 3K the entire indoor season. And
Mhm.
obviously she's good enough to be in it, but because she didn't have a time, I'm wondering if that's why she got put into the slow heat because everybody else had times, so they ranked them off of that. And I guess that would make sense, but then again, you also have the uh, NCAA champ in not only cross country but last year's 5K for outdoor, and I think she was probably she might have been an indoor champ for something. Who knows? Either way, an NCAA champ for both
Mhm.
outdoor and cross country, and the new NCAA record holder for the 5K, I believe. So she gets tossed into the slow heat, runs an 8:42, literally lapping people, and wins the 3K in the slow heat. If I was in the fast heat, I would be furious watching this go down because there goes the winner, and all you can do is go into the fast heat thinking, who am I running after? Like she is a ghost.
Mhm.
I don't even know like how to chase down Parker Valby when you have to watch her race and then you're in the quote unquote fast heat, just thinking to yourself, all this competition doesn't matter. If I win this race, it doesn't matter because I'm gonna lose regardless. So that was actually insane. And yeah, I mean she ran 8:42. Like that is so crazy. I can't run 8:42 if I tried, to be honest with you. Well,
She
maybe
would
I
have beat
could,
me.
but yeah, I mean, she probably would beat me as well. So I tip it. I tip it. And right before that, the day before, she runs a 4:31 split in the DMR to help her team win the DMR,
With
unsurprisingly.
no one even close to her. Um,
Nope, not at
they're
all.
like their 800 leg like just took every other team to Applebee's. I mean, her job was literally so easy. They were already so far in front. So I think it's like it's scary to see, or it's scary that no one was even around her, and she still ran a 4:31. So it's crazy.
Yeah, just absolutely insane. I mean, she is the queen of NCAAs at the moment. No surprise, she's doing Parker Valby things. You just gotta respect it. I did notice she had KT tape on her leg. Hopefully, that's not an issue. Obviously, it didn't seem to be an issue, but I don't know. I feel like she's injured every other season, so I'm fingers crossed. Personally, big Parker Valby fan, of course. So fingers crossed the Queen's doing well. And I
Okay.
mean, I want to know if she's going to nationals because who knows if she even competes at nationals. You would think she's going to the SEC champs to help her team place well, and you'd think she's going to go to indoor to help her team win potentially another
Hmm.
NCAA championship. But at the same time, like if I'm Parker Valby's coach, depending on how she's feeling, per se, like her leg felt good racing, and then afterwards maybe doesn't feel as good. I would absolutely just sit her down and say, all right, you're not racing the rest of indoor season. You're just going to rest, and we'll go back after it outdoor season because you're going to win, and a couple NCAA titles in outdoors anyways. And I'd rather have you for outdoor season. But at the end of the day, I mean, who knows what's going on with her at this point? She's just too
Yeah.
talented. So it'll be super interesting to see. Something really cool actually happened though at the Stanford race. We had Amy B. Not even going to try to pronounce the last name because I will butcher it. She ran a 15:11 for the 5K, which ranks her number 4 all time for indoor. And 15:11 is not only insane, but it makes her competitive with Parker Valby. And I'm not saying it makes her better. Obviously, Valby's got the better time, but it
Yeah.
makes her competitive, which is all you want to see. Because I would love to see a competitive race. I would love to see Parker just run away with every race he runs, to be honest with you. But it makes it much more interesting to have a competitive race, and it just throws in another person in the hat, helping pick up the pieces, if you will, where Caitlin Tui kind of left. So you love to see that out of Stanford. Obviously, an extremely talented team. We also saw Lex and Leo Young running just insane 3K times. One of them ran their 3K and is the fastest freshman 3K in Stanford history, I believe, which I
Mhm.
believe it was their very first 3K they've ever ran. So that's just kind of stupid.
Yeah, that is.
What did they? I think they ran like seven something, 7:30, 7:40, 7:50 maybe. I don't remember to be quite honest with you. I forgot to write it down, but yeah, they are just insanely talented and just very hardworking individuals. So shout out to them. LNL apparently got a new vlog on the way, so that's super exciting. Can't wait to watch that. And yeah, that kind of wraps up our weekend recap. Do you have any thoughts about anything I just kind of rattled off? Because I just kind of went through everything pretty quickly.
No, I have no clue what I'm talking about apparently. So I just want to clarify the SEC in running, like I'm not even gonna try actually. Just move on. Just move on. It's wraps. It's wraps.
Okay. Yeah, anyways, we also have a quick Team USA update. Really, I mean, it just sucks watching like looking at the Team USA results. Something we should mention was last week we were kind of I don't want to say like downplaying the times that they ran, but I don't think we realized that they ran them at altitude. So it makes a little bit more sense now because we were like, yeah, these aren't like anything crazy. They were ran at altitude in all fairness. So they're definitely a little faster than what we were looking at. So that's,
Mhm.
just to clarify, but it also still kind of sucks though because you're looking at some of these times and you're like, I wonder, you toss the best of the best NCAA kids in a race with these athletes, how much faster are we running? And what are the odds that we get an NCAA kid in the Team USA discussion? And obviously, I still think Yared is winning the 3K. I still think Cole is winning the 1500. Hobbs probably going to still win or take second in the 1500, but it is a question. Who knows?
Mhm.
Obviously, Cole kind of separated from the pack, so you could have a fight. And same thing with Yared. You have Hacker, who obviously took second and is representing Team USA, and you love to see it for those guys, but at the same time, I would have loved some more competition, and it just sucks watching, the NCAA kids run a week later and not getting that competition. So it just kind of sucks for professional running because you just don't have a super competitive field when it comes to USA. So, but I just thought I'd touch on it because obviously that is the confirmed roster, if you will, for USA. So super cool. And
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all we have to talk about for this episode. You want to run through famous or infamous?
I would love to. I'd love to go 3 for 3 and be right about something at least today.
Yeah, I'm not going to cap with you. I had no time to put this together because I am absolutely so busy. So I just kind of pulled two names out of a hat and I figure that I can BS it enough to make it good. And I only have two for you today, but I think they're two good ones. So number one, and yeah, we'll see how much you were paying attention over the weekend. Let's just put it that way. Number
Okay.
one, we have Ashley Jones, who is
Bruh.
very well known
Oh yeah, is she?
as a Tennessee runner. She's in college right now, and she is very well known because she only has a left arm, and she is extremely competitive with the best of the best on the college scene. Or I'm absolutely lying. And she actually was exposed for a cheating scandal involving the mixed 4x400 team for attempting to cheat another team out of a medal.
Oh, that's got to be Cap. But I don't remember seeing anyone on Tennessee's team with a left hand. Or missing. What the frick? How would they be cheated out of a medal, bro? You gotta be capping. It's gotta be the first one, even though I've never seen her.
Is that your guess?
Yes, that's my guess.
Yes,
I'm
she
looking
only
it up.
has a left
Oh, thank
arm.
God.
I'll send you. I'll send you it right now. She's a on at NIL with on, and she here. I'm sending it to you right now.
Okay. Dang, you're right.
Shares.
Holy frick.
I am right. I know because I know who she is. No, she is actually so incredibly quick. She ran a
Yeah.
2:16.8. Like this is her PR list I just have pulled up. She is a junior in college. 2:16 high 800, a 4:29 high 15, 4:46 high mile, a 9:21 low 3K, a 16:01 high 5K. Like those are insane times. And to be, you know, I mean, she only has a left arm. Like that's so impressive because if you think about running, you're using both your arms to help you with your cadence, and obviously it
Yeah.
helps with your speed. It's like she has every right not to be working as hard as she is and being as good as she is, but no, just extremely impressive, beating the odds, if you will. And you really got to tip that. Also, not gonna lie to you, B Reel just went off, so I'm taking my B Reel. Mid
Oh,
podcast B Reel. If you know, you know. Sorry about that one. Anyways, let's get on to the next one. But yeah, shout out Ashley Jones. What an absolute beast. And like I said, she's got an NIL with on, which is awesome. Like that's super cool to see. Good for the
yeah.
sport, absolutely. Next one. We have Gabby Jennings, who is a either famous NCAA champ and now pro runner who runs for what is that team called? Uh, girl, no, that's not what it's called.
Girl.
Um, it's called the freaking Team Boss. There you go, Team Boss. Or she is an infamous athlete for doping in the 1500 and got caught in the Rio Olympics.
Oh, this is awful. Um, I'm gonna just
I
say
mean,
infamous, just for fun.
just for fun. Nah, she's
Just for
famous.
funsies.
She's 25, an absolute beast. She runs for Team Boss. I have her World Athletics pulled up. She is an NCAA.
Gabby.
No, not an NCAA. I'm sorry, an NACAC champion. Apologies.
What
Um,
is? that?
I don't know. It's just on her World Athletics. She has like she's a I don't know what her Insta is. I
Dang
just have
it,
her
bro.
personal best pulled up, but she's low key. She ran a 4:29 mile, 4:08 1500, 2:04 800, 8:49 3K. 8:49 3K is kind of crazy to be honest. 15:33 5K. Just yeah, very talented pro runner. I really thought you
Oh,
might actually
frick.
know that one because she's obviously a pro runner. Runs for Adidas, which is super
Oh,
cool.
that's
I
kind
love
of
the
disappointed
Adidas
in
kits that
myself.
they have. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I didn't know who she was until this is like the craziest story. I didn't know who she was until I was watching a video of, I believe it was Milrose last year. They were like somebody was walking around doing interviews with athletes while they were like getting warming up like the day before or something, and she was one
Hmm.
of the athletes like that they interviewed, and I was like, who is that? And then I looked her up, obviously, and I was like, oh, that is actually pretty cool. And she runs for Team Boss, which has got a very, very good athletes that run for them. So, yeah, just something cool. I mean, I
Yeah, that
honestly kind of
is.
thought you might know one of them. It's
No
okay.
comment.
I
I don't know
apologize because I feel
anything.
like I
I don't know
gave you.
anything apparently.
No. I think that's my fault because I gave you bad like descriptions too. I didn't even like really do a good job at making up famous. I'm so I just
Nah, you're
didn't.
good.
I,
You're good. It's my fault. It's my fault.
I got home from my run today and I've just been absolutely checked since. So I've just been trying to get everything ready for the podcast. As you know, it's Monday, so I'm gone
Yeah.
when I'm leaving Thursday morning. So like I just have so much to do that I've been in a simulator, if you will, of just trying to get stuff done, to be honest with you. Passion
Yeah,
project
I
is a work in
understand.
progress. Hopefully I can get it done soon. And yeah, I mean, I think it was a great little episode. I'm pretty happy with everything we did today. So yeah,
I'm
why don't
not.
I'm sorry to hear that. Why don't you close it out, Johnny Key?
Ugh. Oh, I apologize. I feel like Stephen A. Smith on ESPN, bro. Like whenever he just says something that's like wildly untrue, and people are like, dude, why do people watch this garbage? That's how I feel. Um, yeah. Yeah, no comment.
Holy
No
crap.
comment.
I
Next year my notes will be much better, I promise. Next year, next week. We're
I
both
was about to
checked
say.
out. We're both checked out, dude. Oh, frick. But yeah, we'll see you guys next week. Hopefully, we're gonna introduce a new segment next week, so that'll be fun.
Yes, it will. Yes, it will. So that'll be super exciting. And next week we might even have an exclusive interview with Naj and Arrow if I can sit down and get a quick interview with them. We'll see. But
No way.
who knows? Fingers crossed. But
Yeah.
yeah, again, thank you for everybody listening. We appreciate all the love and support. We will see you guys
Hmm.
next week when we get back from California. And in the comments below, if you make it this far, comment Johnny make more money to go to Colorado this summer. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, it's zero comments.
All right, we'll see you guys later. Love all things and peace out.